Meanwhile, at the Hall of Doom.
Hi, welcome to KMP Presents. Happy Monday. I'm Portia, and as you can see, we're missing my lovely sister Kim. She couldn't join us tonight, but I definitely ask that you have her in your prayers. Of course, she wanted to be here tonight, but due to some other things, she's not here with us tonight. She's here in spirit, and she might even chime in here and there, but she could not join us tonight. So it'll just be the P in the KMP tonight. But I am very excited to be hosting this show because I hope it brings you a little bit of joy, a little bit of light through all of this darkness that we are experiencing in such a trying time within the world and within our community. So I appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. I'm excited as well because we have a dope guest. Lakeem Wilson is going to be joining us tonight to talk about his journey as an artist, actually a mental health artist. So I'm really excited to know more about that and just what motivates him to be the artist that he is here in Austin. So before bringing him on, I know we've all been dealing with so much. As of today, I went back to work online and I wasn't ready. Like with all of these different things, it's very overwhelming already. And then to add work back onto that, I've been pretty anxious. Like we had spring break to really have a chance to take everything in that's going on in the world, you know, receive it the way we wanted to and digest it and really figure out our emotions and wrap our heads around what's the reality of the state we're currently in. So I appreciate that for us in Austin, we were on spring break during the time we're really transitioning because every single day it's something different. Things are changing rapidly now every hour. So I appreciate that. But today I went back to work. It was virtually, I got to do a read aloud with my kids on Zoom. It seems like everybody's using Zoom here in these times. So I utilized Zoom to see my kids, which was very, 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 very cool. They were super excited to see me, and I was super excited to see them because, in addition to everything we're experiencing with our jobs, with our families, as educators, when you're thinking about your students, you know, you have some students that may be less fortunate and school is their safe haven. So to just think about those kids that are forced to be in environments that they do not want to be in, as well as not being able to eat the way they're used to being able to eat because their first two meals come from school, breakfast and lunch. And so shout out to everybody that's working hard to distribute meals, breakfasts, and lunches to not only the students, but their families as well, because in this time, community is a necessity, like coming together and helping those that need the help, providing resources, and just being, you know, a positive light in such a time where it's easy to get down on yourself, to get down on the situation, and just let that weigh down on you. So shout out to everybody that's just giving of themselves to others, especially the medical workers who are putting their lives on the line every single day. I don't see how you do it, but you have a different type of strong, ability about yourself to be able to go every single day and take care of these people knowing what's going on. So shout out to them. But yeah, I mean, it's been difficult just sitting in the house. I'm an extrovert, so I'm always out and about, living my best life and socializing. Me and Kim, so it's personally been hard for me. I mean, look at me, I'm struggling. I'm missing nails. Like I'm too scared to go to the nail salon. I'm sure at this point they're closed. I haven't even checked, but yeah, the struggle is real. The struggle is really real. Um, but I really want to communicate to our viewers, our listeners, to take this COVID-19 pandemic seriously. Like it's hit so close to home today, you just don't understand. So stay home. Like there will be a point in time where we'll get our lives back in order. We'll be able to socialize. We'll be able to see this and that person and, go back to our normal lives of going to brunches and kicking it with our friends and all of that. But for the time being, to, you know, be selfless enough to care about others because you don't know if you got it. Like at this point, we all got it for real. Like you just don't know. So the best thing to do is to stay at home, to protect yourself, to protect your family, to protect your kids, and just have a conscious mindset of it could happen to you because there's a lot of people out here acting like it can't happen to you. And it really can. Like it really can. And in Austin right now, we're at what 78 cases, and that grew rapidly from I believe yesterday or the day before. I've honestly pushed back from media and social media because it's really messed with my head. So I really haven't been as tuned in, but my mom was watching it today, so I tuned in a little bit. And I do know in Travis County specifically, there's 78 cases. So it's rapidly, moving around the city. So the best thing to do is to stay at home. I know a lot of people have been posting like, this has provided me the opportunity to be more creative, to check things off of my bucket list, to read that book that I halfway read through that I put down. Like there's so many things that you can be doing right now outside of trying to plan, the next kickback or buying a flight. Like I know some people have taken flights and I know some of those were already planned out. But if you ain't got no planned trips, and even still, if you do, don't go. Like try to reschedule it, try to get a credit. But it's just too serious now. And from what my understanding is, at least in Austin, I know now that we are about to go on a they didn't call it a lockdown, but similar to that, because I know in Dallas, I don't want to speak on facts that I'm not for sure about, because once again, I have not been watching the news as much. But I do know certain precautions are being taken in different cities to eliminate the spread of it. I know in New York and some family members in Memphis, well, Mike's family members in Memphis have stated that there's a lockdown or something of the fact going on to eliminate the spread. So please, please, please stay home. Stay home. Join some of these live DJ sessions. I shared one the other day. They are lit. D Nice. When was it? Yesterday, the day before? Yesterday, he had an amazing set, amazing virtual set on Instagram. And it was lit. And when I tell you we was partying with Bernie Sanders, and it was so many celebrities. I can't even think of all of them, but it was hella celebrities on just his DJ set. So find something else to do. Like just stay at home. I'm not gonna be on my high horse about that, but I urge you and I beg you, stay at home. I've been in the house for the last 3 days, literally like haven't went anywhere. So yeah, just stay at home, enjoy your family, enjoy your kids, meditate, do something, please. All right. So, as you know, or you might not know, we are sponsored by Paradise on Ice here in Austin, specifically the Burnett Road location, which is located on 8820 Burnett Road. So, if you get a chance, I believe they are providing to goes. Go out and check them out, grab a drink, and go home. I just told y'all to stay home, right? That's contradicting myself. When we done with this, go grab you a drink, from Paradise on Ice and enjoy that. Because honestly, ain't no daiquiri in my cup tonight. I got some wine in my cup, but we are sponsored by Paradise on Ice. So check them out, follow them on Instagram. And yeah, stay posted. They have some amazing drink specials that I'm sure you would enjoy. Um, but enough on my high horse because I don't got my girl with me tonight to like bounce energy off of. So I honestly feel a little weird. Um, but I'm very excited once again to have our guest on. Believe it or not, probably is more believable than anything. But we were about to cancel the show because we usually have it in the studio. And as you can see, I'm honestly in my son's room. I closed him and shut him out. And I'm using his room as my studio for tonight. Just because we are very concerned with, transmitting any viral corona-ish things. But we came up with a great idea, and our producer, the lovely Kevin, came up with the idea of Zoom. So here we are. So we're going to be bringing Lakeem Wilson on to talk more about his journey, his road of being an artist and depicting life through art. So I'm excited to bring him on. While we get that together, check him out. We're going to show you some things that he's done. Kevin's gonna put that up, and then we'll be right back. So stay tuned. Don't go nowhere. Get a bottle of wine, glass of wine. Drink with me.
I don't know. That shit. I gotta pee so bad I can't wait.
I'm going home.
Your shoes. Clap it up, clap it up. Blah, blah, blah. Blooper. Come get laid at Paradise on Ice.
Hey, that's live.
Perfect. Welcome back. This is KMP Presents, and I am Portia, the P in KMP. As you can see, my sister is not here with us tonight. I just ask that you send prayers out for her in her absence. So, yeah, it'll just be me holding it down for the K and the P. But tonight we got Lakeem Wilson with us. Welcome, Lakeem. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
What's up, y'all?
Yes.
We're doing the virtual. These like virtual settings and meetings.
Yeah, we're doing the virtual setup tonight. The Corona setup, okay?
Yeah.
We're doing Corona vibes tonight. So, Lakeem, tell us a little bit about yourself.
What's up? So, I'm Lakeem Wilson. For those who don't know, I'm an artist, illustrator, and entrepreneur. I'm from Dallas originally, and now I live in Austin right now. I've been in Austin for like 10 years.
Really?
So it's pretty cool to see everything evolve over time and as far as art goes, I feel like it's been crazy times, but it's been like the most inspiring times to just kind of organize and work on your branding and like just do everything that you want to do for your art, you know, and for your for yourself.
Yeah, so what inspired you to become a artist? Like, because like I told you in like when we met at Elgin's, because I never had met you before, and that's how we got connected. But in the kickback we had, and I met you, I told you that I had saw your work at the Carver Library, and me and my son really, really liked your work. It was a natural born collection, and it was really, really dope. So what got you started in this industry of art? Like what got you there?
Yeah, I mean, I think it started from seeing art. I think art was a thing that was resourceful. So art has always been a resource, and just having a creative mind, it was an outlet for me to express what I see, how I see the world, and how I see the things around me. Yeah, I mean, I started doing art in elementary school.
So you were one of them kindergarten kids that could draw really, really good? Because I've had like 2 or 3 of them in my 6 years, like that can just really draw. Was that you, or was you a stick artist?
Something like that. I think it started off as like stick mans. Then I started doing like robots and things. And I remember getting drawn to drawing shoes. I used to draw shoes with my friends, seeing things as shapes. But now it's like, yeah. I think being an artist, I always start off with like you understanding, having the expression and seeing things.
Yeah, you seeing things like with your third eye or your fourth eye, for that matter. Like
yeah.
That's awesome. So from a young age, you just kept it going, like kept drawing, and it just got better and better. Like
pretty much, yeah. And I mean, outside of drawing, just understanding culture, being involved, and like, you know, how we being raised was like I was raised in like in public schools and things like that. But now it's like now that you're out, now that it's like a new generation and creators and things like that.
Yeah, and there's different ways to create art. It's very innovative now versus like just a pen and paper, which is what you start off with. You start with your pen and your paper, and then you might move it to like a digital setting, right? But you always start from scratch, right? Yeah. Some people use digital versus, you know, the hand to pen artwork. So
yeah, analog. It's like analog versus the digital world. It's kind of crazy because in this day and age, the digital world is becoming way faster than analog.
Yeah,
and even as
most definitely.
We the way that we communicate and having to be in person shows that it's like if artists, I think that's going to be the way of the world for young artists coming up. Is everybody will be
digital? That was stuck. I would want to see some like hand-drawn artwork, or you know, paint to canvas, not mouse to canvas. Like I like that authentic art. I love that. So hopefully that doesn't fade out, because you know, just like newspapers and books have faded out to like ebooks and stuff. I hope art doesn't become one of those things, because that was
exactly. That's why it's definitely a beauty, or it's definitely a skill that I guess over time as I grew in age, it just became like a muscle memory to even with handwriting. Like I think outside even just art, people writing down their notes. Like we're so used to text messaging these days.
This now. We doing this.
Yeah. So you're working on your handwriting and stuff, and like your cursive and print. Like I think that go hand in hand with creativity. And shoot, just coming up, I always had like I always thought of ways of how I can like share what I'm seeing or share how I feel about the world and things like that. That's a whole medium express stuff. Yeah.
So do you feel like your art is an expression of like your experiences throughout life and like your thoughts and emotions on specific things that you've seen or heard or done? Because a lot of your art, it feels like it speaks to the culture, specifically the Black culture, because a lot of your characters are African Americans. So do you use your past experiences and things that you've seen or done to really inspire your work?
Yeah, definitely use past experience. It's like a mix of past experiences with like movie and nostalgia and like photos and also music, and all these things kind of come into play when I think of like creating art, and I guess time as well, like seeing how things evolve over time. Because I always think that it's the artist's duty to kind of create works that speaks towards the times that's happening in the current moment.
Yeah.
So when I'm just thinking of concepts, I kind of think of concepts that matches what's going on in the world, opposed to thinking of them as like individual art pieces. So it's kind of, the thought process is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. So with you saying like concepts of current events and stuff, I can only imagine where your mindset is at right now with everything we have going on. And then you're isolated in your personal space. So you're forced to be in a space that's not shared, or maybe share with one or two people, but it allows for you to be even more creative if you utilize that space to do that. So do you feel like over this last week or so, you've been even more creative with the state that we're currently in? And if so, I want to see what you created.
Yeah, right. Yeah, definitely been super tuned in with creativity. It's almost like being in a studio or a residency at your own space. And lately, I guess it's creativity, but also just kind of curating stuff that I have from the past and stuff too, or stuff that I've created over time. So I think sometimes as artists, we get caught in a mode of like creating new stuff all the time. And like I'm always drawing and illustrating, but sometimes when we look back, we see, I guess it's like the fruits of your labor, like, and then the art becomes collections and you see them every day. So like with those pieces, you just kind of build a story, and, so kind of revisiting older works too and curating it and putting them together, and like, it's been I know I've been doing a lot of that in the quarantine. So it's like a balance.
Yeah. Quarantine Chronicles with Lakeem Wilson. Look, use that name, Quarantine Chronicles with Lakeem Wilson. Do that. I think that rings good. You hear that? Let's say it together. Quarantine Chronicles.
Quarantine Chronicles.
Inspired by Portia. I'm kidding. Welcome, Kim.
Hi, babe.
What's up?
The KMP is here, y'all. She's here. Praise God.
Trying to be, child.
Yes. So Sissy's on. If you're tuned in, make sure you share this. Please share. Also, we're on YouTube right now, so you can check us out there as well.
Yes.
So Lakeem,
what's up?
With your art being, would you say your art is like culturally themed around us? If so, why? Like, what motivates you? Because some of your pieces speak in regards to like social injustice. At least that's, everybody depicts art in a different way. But some of your pieces that I see depict social injustice. The biggest one is social injustice. I'm getting my words right. But yeah, how do you feel like that connects to our people?
Yeah, I mean, I think of it as like, when I'm making art, I think of it as like magazine covers, movie covers, or like an album cover for a soundtrack or something. And, I guess as an artist, I forgot. Let me see. As an artist, I just always think of dope ways to represent us as a culture instead of like the everyday common. Like right now, we know it's the coronavirus going on, but at the same time, I don't always like playing into the subconscious. I think the power of art really plays on the subconscious mind and just the power of images in general. And like a lot of times how we see ourselves as like Black people and as a culture could be based on like a representation of like the struggle or, you know, slavery, or even with hip hop these days, it's like, you know, chains, bling, everybody have representations of the culture. I think the kind that I like or got drawn to the most was like the classic. I don't know if y'all heard of like Norman Rockwell.
I have not.
He's like an old school,
very well
not an old school artist, but he was like I guess during his times, Norman Rockwell would like just walk around and capture and draw illustrations of stuff of what was going on. I got a book, I'm gonna show you.
What would you consider Norman Rockwell? Would you consider his art more like Americana versus it being, I mean, that's still a culture. That's still a subject of culture, Americana, but what about it? What about his art kind of influence or impacts your art?
Yeah. See, with his, I think I'm influenced by the skill and the attention to detail.
Yes.
And like the understanding of, I guess, scenes. Mm-hmm. Even though he was a white artist, yes, and during the 1920s, what was going on around in the 20s, that's crazy. It's like 100 years ago.
I know.
Like it's the 2020s now, but imagine what artists was doing in 1920s. You know,
can only imagine.
But like, I like his work because he captured like common moments in the days. Mm-hmm. But I guess representation-wise, he represented his culture of how he saw what was going on. So there's like with my art, I like to be the person that represent that culture from a lens of like, you know, what the true culture is like from what I see it. Pretty much everything is from the lens of my eyes.
And the reality of probably what you've seen over time. Right. Yeah. Well, that's the dope. So has you focusing in on our culture inspired the Natural Born collection, which was that's your latest collection, right? The Natural Born collection, correct?
Yeah.
Would you say it's a collection, or what would you call it? Series?
Yeah, that's dope that you asked. I see it as it's definitely a collection.
Yeah.
And now
I loved it. Like I loved it when I saw it at Carver.
I'm so glad.
Yeah. And currently I've been calling everything a concept. Like all the pictures, like it's still a collection. Even every time I think of a picture, I think of it as a specific concept. And like, let's see, I would turn my screen. I got it on the laptop, but like, all right, I'm gonna pull up.
Take us to it. Walk us over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, pick it up. We can walk with you.
Us over. And he has a whole big book. I'm sure you have multiple of those books, but when I met you, you had a book of art.
Yeah. That's the thing. They're like,
dope.
I love it. I love it.
All right. So this one is a theme. The theme for this one is eat to live. Mm-hmm. So just thinking about eating to live. So you got the guy, and it's like a cool, interesting quarantine picture.
Quarantine Chronicles. Look, hello.
Right. You gotta learn how to eat to live. So it's like a lady with the veggies and things.
Yeah.
But I mean, illustrations. Well, I just see the cartoons as magazine covers, really.
And as far back as you can remember, when did you start drawing? Like, what was the thing that you saw that was like, I want to do that? Or what was the thought that you had, I guess I should say, that told you, you know what, I can do that. I want to do that. This is my niche. Because I can't draw to save my life. I can't stick figure.
I can draw like this much. Not that much, but like this much.
Not that much.
You got a little something.
Yeah, it's a little something in my cup. Not too much. It ain't full like yours.
Yeah. I think I started drawing. I remember in elementary school, it was like a science. It wasn't a science project. It was a drawing competition. We had to draw like futuristic cars. Mm-hmm. And this had to be like first, second grade. I don't even remember. I know it was elementary school. So that was like what, 1990s, 5, 6, 7.
Tell your age.
Oh, I know it wasn't that early. Late 90s. I don't know. I just remember being in elementary school and like drawing. We had like a space car competition, and I drew like a live car. And early on, I think drawing and art was just something that was easily accessible in terms of all you need is a pencil and a paper and just like an imagination. And I think as a kid, I just had a big imagination. Like I always thought about like designing shoes or like basketball, because we think of other stuff that's going around, so like the NBA and little kid stuff. So I think just over time, that muscle memory of repeating it. It's like when I got into high school, I mean, I started doing tats like freshman year in college, or it was like my last senior year in high school.
You did tattoos?
Freshman year, going on freshman year. So when I started learning how to do tats and stuff, it kind of changed the way I approached art, because in tattoos, everything is more like line art. It's more graphic design. It's more like crisp and close. So kind of adapting to that style of drawing, I started doing like a lot of illustrations and comics just off of learning how to do tattoos or having to do tattoo designs.
Oh, wow.
And I got into photography. I don't know, everything becomes tools once you understand how to see art.
And how it works together. That's absolutely true. How does your art, or does your art impact your mental health? Like, I know for me personally, like I blog and I like journaling, and that's a big, big way for me. Like when I'm getting anxious or feeling any kind of anxiety or depression, it's easy for me to write and I feel better. Like I feel like I left it all right there on the paper, or all right there. If I type it up, I leave it right there wherever it is. And it's like, it's a release. Like, does that work the same way with you with your art?
Yeah. Art is definitely like writing a book.
Yeah.
Or creating a collection. It's kind of like having a dope collection of something. Like people who are interested in collecting, maybe books, or like some people are interested in having like book collections. Some people into fashion and things. I don't know. It's a dope way to collect things. So over time, like as a kid, and I think that's something my mom did. She always kept like my sketchbooks, and she kept like the old drawings I used to have. So it always made it seem like I had the collection over time. But I think that was something important that I learned early on, is to just like hold on to pictures. So I used to like take the pictures, put them in like a binder, and just have them. Or I don't know. I got kind of interested in creating art into books and drawing. Like that.
And you were recently commissioned too by Measure. Was it Measure, or was it the initiative? Initiative. Yeah, because I could have sworn I just saw you did something kind of big.
Dope. I wanted to go.
Oh yeah, Measure Austin. Yeah, that's a dope project. Pretty much with Measure, we're using the platform to create a comic book about like young girls. It's going to be a comic about the first Black woman president.
I love it.
Oh, that's going to be nice for the kids. That might be featured in my Lit Kids book.
I was going to say, we can. Yeah, my baby like that. We all about women empowerment.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's dope.
See, I think that's dope. Yeah.
So wrapping it back around Kim's question on mental health, how do you connect that with mental health specifically? Like, is it specifically for your mental health, or do you provide art that allows for somebody going through some mental health challenges to use that as I don't know how they would use it, but maybe
art,
meditating on the art. I don't know.
It's definitely a mental health tool. And like I think it's a way of thinking. It's a way to organize your thinking, especially in these times. I see it a lot like writing. So the same way I'm like sketching pictures or drawing, I compare that to a person writing in their journal or just writing down your thoughts. Mm-hmm. So I think when it comes to mental health, it's like a way that you can it's like a meditation. If you see it as a meditation or a process of you just writing down your thoughts, or the same way, and if people do that, it's just an outlet. Right. And I think in the times of solitude and things like that, I think phones and digital and technology can be an interruption sometimes.
I agree.
True.
But at the same time, it's like in this day and age, we're getting more closer to using it, or it's being more like adapted to who we are, to where, I don't know, that's just a cool way of seeing it. But as far as mental health, I think it's good to disconnect sometimes and just be with your creation, whether it's just writing, whether it's just drawing, or even if you dance and sing, if you singing to yourself or dancing in your house, like all of those are a form of art that can ground you. It can be a mental health stimulation type deal, thinking of art in multiple spectrums.
Mm-hmm. Kim was just sharing with me that she was singing loud at home the other day to kind of get her through the day. So hi, Princess Payton.
Hi.
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 I put Mike on lockdown. He's in the room.
Girl, she just walked in here.
And here he comes.
Can you go back in there? Mommy's doing her show. I'll be done in a little bit. Go in there with Daddy.
Payton, now Mike.
Would y'all consider the podcast as a creative?
Where's Payton?
The kids came into the room.
Go back. What you say, Lakeem? Would you consider what?
Would y'all consider the podcast as a creative process?
It is a creative process. It really allows for me and Kim to, one, collaborate, two, to connect on a different level within our friendship, and three, be creative as a unit, like bring both of our own personal ideas together and create not only content, but a space for other people to share their creativity and their ideas within our podcast that we do live, as well as outside of the studio, because we do different events where we welcome in women. And I feel like that kind of brings in their creativity as well, or it allows for our creative juices to flow a little bit better. Like, hey, we did this event. What else can we do? Because this is popping. So I definitely feel like the podcast creates a different realm of us to generate creativity within ourselves and within our brand. So although not necessarily, maybe it is a form of art, I don't know, but it does allow for us to definitely be creative.
It's like the voice of the community, or the voice. If it's not art, what would you call it then? Like podcast is like a mass communication tool.
Yeah,
definitely. Absolutely. And I think it's a way to not only be expressive, but it's a way to connect, because a lot of people are wondering certain things. A lot of people do want to talk about certain things, but they don't feel like maybe their voice is enough. So being able to relay that message to others, get other people's opinions, it helps. I think it's therapeutic for me. I think for me, just me, art to me is a release. So podcasting is a release. Journaling is a release. I can see how creating art, writing, and all that's a release. And I think we need more of that in our culture, because we unfortunately have been muted for so long, or being told to stay in our place. And now that we've started to really find our voices and find our outlets and getting into our niches, I think it makes a huge difference on what we say and how we say it. Because we do speak for a lot of the culture. Everything you do, a lot of your art is a lot of our culture, and what people, they can see it, or and then they can hear it through us. So I would say so.
It's a way to capture. It's a way to capture the times. I see it as like our existence is like, you gotta leave a mark in the world some kind of way. Everybody gotta leave a mark in the world some kind of way. And it's like, leaving the mark is just influencing the next generation. And I think in the fact that we live in the times where it's so much, it's like it's the beginning of a new decade. So we living in
shitty. Oh, look, it's already been a shitty year. I want to go back to 2019.
Lord.
Take me back, Jesus.
Take me back, Jesus.
Like
the start of the 2020s decade. So I guess it's all about how you see things and how you visualize stuff. That's why that's kind of how I branded because I'm big on branding and marketing too. And like my ultimate goal is to start like a animation company or just a whole like a new age Disney or something.
Yes, because your animations are dope. Like the little animation that he just posted was really nice, but you have other animations. If y'all check them out on Instagram,
you did
Instagram. Did you do that?
Oh no. No, this is Disney animations.
Oh, studying. You
looks so real.
But shoot, that's the thing. Imagine this was like my hand, like made up characters, like
created.
Instead of Bugs Bunny, it was like Thugs Bunny or something.
Bugs Bunny, come through, Thugs Bunny.
Nah, but just recreating a new age animation company.
Yeah.
And the tagline would be imagine that.
So, yeah, because people wouldn't really imagine that we would have a whole animation company that represents people of color. Like
right. See, imagine that.
The FUBU.
Right. In addition to like characters that kind of, use our, vernacular and move like we do, what I'm saying? They wouldn't be ready for that. So imagine that. I like it. I love it.
Yeah. And it inspires people to like think, because I think that's what we do. We don't imagine how life can be sometimes. I think sometimes we get so caught up in current moments, especially with stuff like this pandemic
we never
going
imagine this would be happening, right?
Right. Some things we can't imagine, but then some things you gotta have an imagination, or you just gotta have a dope vision of how you want your life to be, and then you just gotta kind of shape it. You gotta go into the future and see it, and then just start living like that right now in current moments, no matter the circumstances and things like that. And I think a lot of times it's like, or I know people in these times are talking about like goals, like setting goals. Like they say, if you go into the quarantine, you got to come out better than you were when you came in. Or
I mean, you got time, so why not? We got time on our hands. Well, for some of us, like today, I started work and feel like my time was limited because of all the busy stuff we had to do. But I mean, you do afterwards. I had plenty of time, so you have time to really, like I said, hone in on those things, little goals that you wanted to do, or like a book you wanted to read. Finish reading it. I didn't mention it before, but I've also talked to you about it. But I'm starting my own literacy initiative with my book box, and so being in quarantine, I really like hit the road running with like ordering and just trying to create different content, like creating a commercial, which has been very interesting because I know nothing about that, and just really building and working on branding myself, because we're actually going to be launching the book box in 6 days. So on the 29th. So just really honing in on that, because when I'm at work, it's like work, a little bit of like what you really want to do, work, mom, work. So here is a time for me to really, really hone in on my business and what I want to do. So yeah, and just a quick plug, you know what I'm saying? March 29th, the book boxes will be out. I forgot to do it earlier, but this is the box. So yes, and I think I talked to you about like some animation stuff like later on. So
yeah, the book box, that's a dope idea. That's like an innovative idea. It's
if you subscribe, parents get 2 to 3 books sent to their homes to build their kids at home library, and they're not just books. they're books of representation and books of color for our brown and Black kids to see more, you know, book characters that look like them, that they're familiar with, so that they can, you know, connect on a different level. Because when I was growing up and thinking about books that I was exposed to, I don't remember seeing brown girls or brown boys in them at all. Not really. So that's what the whole initiative is to get more books of representation into the homes of brown and Black kids, so that they have access to that. So
it's like y'all deliver straight to your front door.
Yeah, boom, your book box. You get books, learning activities, and a little bit of gift, and a special gift. So plug www.lakekidsbooks.com, and I'll plug that again at the end of the show. But yeah, so we lack that. So
books,
I really think it's dope. So talking about like the youth and, you know, paying it forward. I'm really big on paying it forward. I think I saw that you provided like a comic book class or something to was it kids or something like that? So yeah. So what do you do to kind of reach out to the kids that, because being what would you call yourself, an artist or illustrator or animator, a little bit of all of that?
Right. I always say I'm an artist, illustrator, and entrepreneur.
Yeah, so kids that are interested in that realm or have not ever been exposed to it, how do you provide outreach for kids to, you know, kind of explore that industry of like drawing and possibly becoming an artist yourself?
Yeah. It's teaching kids small skills that I know that they can take with them in the long run, like random small skills. So I did the comic book class at the Carver Library. That was like beginning of January, and it was just comics with Lakeem. And pretty much we just talked about lessons on like basics of drawing, like how to draw perspectives, how to draw the human figures and the heads, and you know, how to see environments and perspectives and stuff. And that was pretty cool, because seeing their mind and seeing like what they're into is like, some kids are really naturally talented. Like some kids are like really interested in learning how to draw and learning how to create new things. And some kids, some kids just wanted to come for the snacks. And it was like, all right, I don't think this is what I'm getting into. But the ones that really tuned in, we learned like how to draw a hand, or like how to draw figures standing up, and how to put a background. Now, like, you know, just kind of thinking back when I was young, it was like those little technical things I learned early on kind of stuck with me in the long run. So I was thinking, if I was a kid, what would I teach myself if I wanted to get into art and
That's so awesome.
Yeah. Then, you know, later towards the end, just teaching them the entrepreneur side of it, in terms of like, well, we had like buttons. I've done like events with buttons and teaching kids how to create buttons.
Yeah, we posted some of your buttons that we can show that you created, which is really dope.
Yeah. So it's like making buttons. It's still art. It's still creativity, but it's more on the entrepreneurial side. It's more on the like understanding what a product is, or understanding what you know, how to make a pitch about your buttons or your products. So like my little nephews, he'll draw on a picture, and we'll cut it out and make a button out of it, and then show them how to just giving it a price of like, one button is $3. You got 5 buttons. How many dollars is it, or something like that? And then tying like creativity and entrepreneurship to teach kids to understand that art is not just something that's for fun and things. It can really be a career, and it can turn into something that you can take serious in the long run. You know,
right. I think awesome. Well, that's great. I love when people have knowledge and things, they utilize that and not only keep it for themselves, but they pay it forward, especially specifically to the youth. So it's good that you provided like comics with Lakeem. I love the name. But I would love for people to see some of your artwork. So if you check it out, he's really dope. You can see the buttons there that he's created as well, and see that he's all for the culture. Like your work is so dope. Wow, Obama got this mean grin though. What is he saying?
Yes, we can painting. Let me see.
What is he saying? No, but I really, really love your work.
It's the Obama painting.
Yeah, I think that's really dope. Like, but why the grin? Is that just like really like, yes, we can? Just expressing that.
It's like it's the Obama with attitude. Not with attitude. I don't know. I remember when they did his official portraits. I think it was Keen Wiley. At they have their official portraits, presidential portraits painted at the Smithsonian. And like what was her name? Michelle Obama had hers, and then Obama had his. And I was like, I think I painted that picture around that time. And I was like, it would be dope if I was kind of selected to paint the president's official portraits and pictures.
Yeah.
And
so if people wanted to purchase your art or your buttons, where could they go to get that product?
Yeah, well, right now I've been doing all the buttons at events. So they're like one-of-one original buttons. I'm working on putting them on naturalbornstore.com or just kind of having them online, maybe even on Instagram. Like if you go on Instagram, probably, yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to start changing the ways that people see and buy and purchase art and like consume art too.
Yeah.
I think with animation, like getting into animation in a digital world and small products like buttons and things, it really cost me like less than $1 to make. but you can sell them like $5. But I think it's more when it comes to branding and creativity, it's more so like how can you creatively market these buttons?
Buttons is a great branding tool. But I collect buttons. Like it's one specific jacket that I put all of my buttons on. So they like when I wear it, all of the buttons are there. And people ask like, or it's a great conversation piece. Like I have one button for from Mess in a Bottle, which is this Black entrepreneur. She's really dope. I got her button at the Hugh Hair event, but it says I am woman. It says see me, I am woman. And I get so many compliments or like questions like, where'd you get that button from? Just off of them, like just off of the visibility of the buttons, them being able to read it and then inquire about it. So buttons are a great marketing tool. But as far as your like actual artwork, is that available for purchase? And can they purchase that online or on your website?
Yeah, it's gonna be it's on my website, naturalbornstore.com. I have originals on there, and then LakeemWilson.com.
Oh, you all over the World Wide Web, ain't you?
Yeah, Lakeem Wilson. But it's crazy because I'm still trying to figure out. So I mean, a few people ask like, how can I buy a painting? What I'm doing, I'm creating a catalog. I'm creating a catalog with like all my original paintings on there that I currently have, and I'm gonna just put them. I'm gonna have it to where I can just send it people through text message on Instagram. So it's like a mobile. I'm thinking of it as like a mobile website, or even Google Forms and stuff like that. But right now, if you click the link in my bio, it'll go to my store, and it'll have an original paintings up, things like that.
And what's your Instagram name?
It's Lakeem.Wilson, and then Natural Born Studios. That's the brand.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, thank you for plugging it in. So make sure y'all check him out on Instagram. Y'all see over the World Wide Web, he got 2 websites. So check those out.
The world. I got another painting.
Yeah,
This is
what is
the
that
earth.
one?
It's the earth painting. It's like
What's
a
the
lady.
name of it? Usually artists have like a name. Do you name your art? Like your pieces?
Yeah, I mean this one is named Earth.
Earth, got it. Okay.
Yeah, so she like it's like a woman holding the earth. Like you got to protect the earth and hold on to it and really give the earth the attention it needs and things.
And what better person to do it than a woman, right?
Exactly. She's the creator of the earth. You know,
Right.
the black woman and things. So I think
Yeah.
I have an art of her series, and then it's like how to separate the catalog, and this is how people can purchase art. So I'm learning that organization impacts how money comes to you, or like how you,
Yeah.
you know, how you present yourself in the world. And then I was talking to my homie the other day, and I was saying like, now we don't really like I see it as instead of introducing myself, I'm presenting myself.
Every time. You
Situation.
are a walking brand.
Exactly. So when I think of art, the more I learn about that concept, the more I like categorize my art, and then I just make things easier for you people to. One, you got to look back at yourself and see like how do the world see you, you know, as an artist. Because a lot of times, you know, people are like, man, he create powerful work, or his work really speaks towards the culture. And when I reflect on my creative process, I guess people only see what I post online,
Mm-hmm.
or people can only see what I show them in the world. And that's really, I mean, that's really the digital world. Because in person, like to buy a painting, you know, the person would have to see it in person, or I don't know. Yeah, like original paintings and things, they happen in the moment and they just last over time type deal. So I
Yeah.
think the digital world, the digital way of selling art and seeing like I don't know if y'all can hear the message bells, but the digital way of creating, not even digital way of creating, but just having a internet presence with your art is interesting. I think the funnest times is just being at events, being like local, you know, being hands-on with people and being able to see like originals up front and like with prints,
Yeah.
you know. So, but yeah, people can still purchase online too. That's why I'm starting to make books. All right. Yeah, you was talking about the book box. It reminded me of I really want to get into publishing,
Well,
just
you
publishing
should.
books.
You already got the illustration part down, so why not? So you can
Right.
illustrate and publish the books. I think that would be a good segue into a different industry for you to make another stream of income for yourself. So why not? But
Exactly.
my last question as we end tonight's episode is being an artist, what legacy do you want to leave behind when it comes to your art? Like when Lakeem Wilson is long gone, but your art is going to stay forever. What do you want? What do you want for that to leave behind? What is the message behind the collective of what you've given the world?
Right. Man, natural born. This natural born is really inspiring the people to tap into that natural born self, or so like everybody have a unique characteristic or a innate like quality about them that makes them different from the world, and that's what the natural born represents. And the tagline is imagine that. So like as I get older and maybe when I turn like 100 years old, I want people to be able to tap into their imaginations, or really freedom. I think, all right, to make it short and sweet, to have access to your imagination is like having access to freedom, like an ultimate freedom. And it's really no matter what you creating or how you create, It's more about your imagination or your vision of how you can see where you're going in life. You know, so like right now, you know, we in 2020, I'm 30. I'm not 30, I'm 28.
Oh, don't claim that age yet. Enjoy your 20s.
Right. But you know, I just think of decades. Like when I turned 38, and then when I turned 48, we turned 58, 68, you know, in a lifespan of time, I think we just leave things on the earth for the next generation to learn from down the line. So when I'm creating art, I just think of ways that I just think of art that's timeless, or art that can be represented in any generation. And just understanding that those are the things that I'm gonna leave on earth that people can collect and they can have collectibles of. So before I leave earth, I want to make thousands of books, thousands of buttons, thousands of art pieces, and just have it to where anything I create becomes a collectible, you know, like a Basquiat or, you know, shoot, timeless artists always leave a mark or leave their name on the planet some kind of way, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's an amazing way to amazing vision of how you want to leave a legacy on the world with your artwork. So with that, I really appreciate you tuning in with us. Joining us tonight. Lord Jesus, get my words together. Joining us tonight, you know, sharing who Lakeem Wilson is, who Natural Born is, and what mark you're trying to leave on the world. So I really appreciate you, you know, quarantine vibing with us tonight on the Zoom.
Quarantine on the Zoom.
Yeah, and don't forget Quarantine Chronicles by Lakeem Wilson, inspired by Portia. Okay.
Hey, that's gonna be the next book.
For your you know, your next collection or concepts. But yeah, once again, we really do appreciate you coming. Give them your Instagram and stuff again so they can contact you or find you.
Yeah, so Natural Born Studios. We also have the Natural Born Network and LakeemWilson.com or Lakeem.Wilson.
Worldwide.
So, you know,
all over the globe.
Natural Born. I want to make a global brand. That's the goal. Like,
yes,
goal. Part 2 network. Just have, you know, so Natural Born Network. You can see all the dope stuff that represent the culture on there. On the studios, that's like that's my personal portfolio. So that's where I put like original art pieces and concepts that I'm working on. And then Lakeem Wilson is just who I am every day. So like, or just pictures of family and, you know, my regular life.
Got it. Well, thank you to everybody that tuned in tonight as well. And, you know, just logged on during these hard times. Once again, I want to let you all know that Lit Kids is coming. The book box will be available in 5 days to order. So make sure this is not the box. It's way too big, but this is what the box looks like. But make sure you follow Lit Kids on Instagram. That's L.I.T.kids on Instagram, and just Lit Kids all together on Facebook. We launched our website this week, so you can also follow us on Lit Kids with an S, litkidsbooks.com, and subscribe to our email list so you can stay in the know about whatever's going on and all of the updates and upcoming events and things like that. But the biggest thing is that the book box is going to be available, and it's currently available to ages 0 to 3. As well as ages 4 to 8. So if you're trying to build your kids at-home library with books of representation, this is the place to go. So if you need more information, hit me up as well. But 5 days, it launches this Sunday. I'm super excited. Once again, we're sponsored. Yes. Once again, we're sponsored by Paradise on Ice. Make sure you check them out on Burnett Road. I don't encourage it, but if you really need a drink right now, they are doing to-go drinks. You can order and pick it up to go and get lit at home. Okay. Shout out to Do Right Productions again for always getting us right for Monday nights. Make sure you check out our YouTube page. Stay safe, stay clean, wash your hands. You
Can
know
I
what
get
I'm
one of
saying?
those shirts?
Huh?
Can I get one of those shirts? The Lit
Yes,
Kids.
you can get one. I can hook you up. Shout out to my graphic designer in Atlanta, Champion Dreams, Danielle Johnson. You might be next, Lakeem. Look.
Hey, Lit Kids. I like that. I like the direction.
But thank y'all. Y'all have a great week. Stay safe. Keep the kids. Stay social distancing. Stay in the house. Okay. We don't want to be in the house for too much longer. All right. We love y'all. Happy Monday. Peace.
Peace out.
It has been
Peace.
a real Monday.
It has been a real Monday.
My Lord.
So
I got pina colada. Don't
right?
drink and drive.
So look that up. I don't know.
Girls.
That's
Is this what it means?
I gotta pee so bad. I can't wait.
Go
like
home.
your shoes.
Clap it up. Clap it up.
Blah, blah, blah.
Blooper.
Come get